Hi, welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm Erin, the Executive Director of Common Sense Adoption and Foster Care Services, and
I'm Teeter, and I'm the Program Supervisor here at Common Sense.
So today what we want to talk about is how do you get started? So if you're thinking about adopting or fostering, a lot of people wonder, how do I get started? And Lori, you're the one who takes a lot of the calls of people in just that place. So do you think you could say a little bit about just those first steps?
Sure. We take calls from all people interested in helping children heal, interested in building their family through adoption and or foster care, interested in helping us provide services to children and families. And the first call is, how do I start? And oftentimes, many families have already done their homework and they have good questions. They have a list, and we can set aside a time to go at that list, get the list together. Whatever you are at the time is helpful. If you don't even know the questions to ask, we're good at that. We can help with that often. Many families also find it helpful to just start calling around to different agencies, asking questions, taking notes, processing, and kind of doing homework.
So I think one of the things that we encourage families to do when they're first starting out is really shopping around for the right agency, because this is a really complex process. It often takes years depending on what you're doing. So it's a long-term relationship that you're building with an agency. And finding that right agency, finding that fit is something that's really critically important when you're starting out. And you can't tell if an agency is the right fit till you start to get to know some agencies. We like to think, we're a good fit for a lot of people, but we might not be the best agency for you and your family. So what are some things, Lori, that, people when they're shopping around want to be paying attention to beyond just the questions they have, in terms of finding that right fit or that right agency to meet their needs?
I often think it's helpful, and what we try to do is meet in person, one-on-one. Often families feel maybe a little intimidated about a group process. They aren't sure of the questions to ask. They aren't sure what's going to be asked of them. So I think it's important to ask some of those initial questions and hope to meet in person.
Yeah.
I believe that an agency that's welcoming and ready for you individually, uniquely as a family, is important.
Yeah. So, all agencies that are licensed to provide adoption and foster care services offer most of the same services that we do. I mean, the process is very similar, but they may have nuances in their programs or the services that they offer. So one thing that we no longer are able to do are, provide services to families adopting internationally. And that's something that when you're taking those initial calls, we're able to help families see that, we'd love to work with you, but if you're really looking to go overseas and adopt from another country, we're not going to be able to help you with that. But we will try to help connect you with some reputable agencies that are doing those kinds of services. But, beyond that, if you're looking at domestic adoption, if you're looking at foster care, any licensed agency locally can probably meet those needs. So then it becomes a question around fit. Location's important. When you're working with an agency, it can be very beneficial to have an agency that's geographically close to you, at least within 30 to 45 minutes drive. Long term that becomes a consideration. I think the other thing is how it feels, because we talk about that. It's not just finding an agency that can provide the services that you need, but do you feel like their culture, their responsiveness to you as an individual is good. It's a good fit. And I think it's that fit and feel that are big things to consider when you're out there shopping for an agency to work with.
I think another thing that's important is that we are an agency that is all inclusive to families, and families all look unique in different ways, and we try to listen and provide individual assistance, no matter what your family looks like. We really enjoy working with single men, single women, all couples, married single couples, cohabitating couples, older families who might be retired and think they might be perceived as too old to parent. Absolutely not the case. Even families who might feel, well, we're young and we haven't parented yet. We have really very little experience with children. Families who might feel intimidated or judged by the process. We want to welcome those families and have a discussion about how we can provide good services.
So, when you're just getting started, when you're thinking about this process, and you are hopefully out there shopping around, finding out who's in your community, providing the kinds of services that you're looking for, it's important. Find that right fit. If an agency doesn't feel like a good fit for you, you're probably not going to have a good experience. One thing that's important to understand about adopting or fostering is that this is a pretty intrusive process. Your agency is going to know a lot of very intimate details about you and your family. If you're not feeling a certain comfort level with them, that's probably not going to be a good experience for you. It's also a long term commitment. No matter how quickly children come into your home, your involvement with an agency is likely to last a couple of years. And it's hard to change agencies. It's not impossible, but it is hard, and you might end up having to repeat a lot of that work that you did at the beginning. So, again, take your time, choose a good agency that's the right fit for you, because changing later is hard, and you don't need this to be a more uncomfortable, process to go through. We want you to be successful, and so we hope you'll give us a call. Check us out on our website, check us out on social media, and if you think Common Sense might be a good agency to work with, give us a call. You probably talk to her.